When a woman realizes you're no longer interested, something inside her shifts before she even understands why. At first, she may act calm. She may pretend she doesn't care. She may even convince herself that your distance means nothing. But deep down, the silence hits her, not because you argued, not because you explained yourself, not because you begged her to understand. It hits her because you stopped giving her the one thing she was used to receiving from you, your attention. And for a woman who once believed she had emotional access to you, your sudden indifference can feel like a shock to her entire system, because when a man chases, responds quickly, explains himself, overthinks her mood, and keeps trying to prove his value, she slowly gets used to that rhythm. She starts believing his energy will always be there. She starts assuming that no matter how distant she becomes, he will still come closer. No matter how cold she acts, he will still try harder. No matter how little she gives, he will keep investing. But the moment you stop doing that, the dynamic changes. Suddenly, you are no longer reacting the way she expected. You are no longer reaching for her approval. You are no longer trying to decode every message, every pause, every shift in her tone. And that is when her mind starts asking questions. Why did he stop? Why is he not chasing anymore? Why does he seem calm without me? Did I lose my hold on him? This is where the first real hit happens, not to her heart, but to her ego. Because attention is not just attention. Attention is validation. Every message you sent, every compliment you gave, every extra effort you made, every moment you placed her above yourself, all of it quietly fed her sense of importance in your life. So when that attention disappears, she doesn't just notice your absence. She feels the loss of power, and that loss creates discomfort. At first, she may try to brush it off. She may act like she's too busy. She may post more, laugh louder, respond colder, or make it seem like your silence has no effect on her. But inside, she feels something she cannot ignore, because your indifference feels different from anger. Anger still means emotional investment. Arguing still means you care. Begging still means she matters enough for you to lose control. But calm silence? That feels dangerous. Because silence tells her you may have already accepted life without her, and that is what unsettles her most. After the shock comes curiosity, and curiosity is where her mind begins to work against her. She starts studying your behavior. She notices when you don't reply the same way. She notices when your voice sounds less eager. She notices when you stop asking the questions you used to ask. She notices when you no longer try to keep the conversation alive. The smallest things begin to feel huge. A delayed response becomes a mystery. A short reply becomes a signal. A lack of reaction becomes a message. She may tell herself she doesn't care, but her mind keeps returning to you because uncertainty is addictive. When a woman knows she has your attention, she feels safe. But when she can't tell where your energy is going anymore, her imagination starts filling in the blanks. Maybe he met someone else. Maybe he finally moved on. Maybe he is happier without me. Maybe I misjudged him. Maybe I pushed too far. And if she suspects another woman is receiving the attention she once had, the curiosity becomes even stronger. Because now it is not just about losing you. It is about being replaced. And replacement hits differently. She can handle believing you're alone and still thinking about her. But imagining you becoming emotionally unavailable because another woman has your focus, that cuts deeper. Suddenly, the man she once took for granted starts looking more valuable. Your calmness starts looking like strength. Your silence starts looking like confidence. Your distance starts looking like self-respect. And this is where emotional turmoil begins. She may feel confused because part of her wants to reach out, while another part refuses to look vulnerable. She may feel insecure because your lack of interest makes her question her own place in your life. She may feel angry because your detachment bruises her pride. And she may feel longing because the attention she once had so easily is no longer available. That mixture creates an internal battle. One moment she wants to ignore you. The next moment she wants to check on you. One moment she wants to prove she doesn't care. The next moment she wants to know if you still do. This is why her behavior may become inconsistent. She might act cold to see if you chase. She might suddenly become sweet to see if you soften. She might bring up other men to test your jealousy. She might post things just to trigger a reaction. She might ask small questions, create small excuses, or appear in your space just to measure your energy. These are not always conscious games. Sometimes they are emotional reflexes. She is trying to find out whether she still has influence over you, because when you were predictable, she knew exactly how to pull you back in. A little distance and you chased. A little silence and you explained. A little coldness and you tried harder. But now you remain steady, and that is what makes her tests backfire. Because when she tries to provoke you and you don't react, she realizes something powerful. The old version of you is gone. The version that begged for clarity is gone. The version that panicked over her silence is gone. The version that placed her mood above his peace is gone. And when she sees that, respect begins to awaken. Because real respect is not built from endless availability. It is built from boundaries. A woman may enjoy a man who gives endlessly, but she does not always respect him if he gives without standards. She may like the comfort of his attention, but comfort does not always create desire. Respect starts when she realizes you can walk away from what does not honor you, not with bitterness, not with revenge, not with emotional drama, but with calm control. That kind of detachment speaks louder than any speech you could give, because it shows her you are not controlled by the fear of losing her. You are not addicted to her reactions. You are not waiting around for permission to feel valuable. You have chosen yourself, and that changes how she sees you. The silence she once thought was weakness now feels powerful. The independence she once ignored now feels attractive. The calmness she once underestimated now feels masculine. She begins to realize you were never weak for loving her. You were only dangerous when you stopped needing her validation. And once respect appears, fear follows. Not fear in the dramatic sense. Fear of losing access, fear of losing her place, fear of seeing another woman receive the version of you she once had. Because when your attention was available, she may have assumed it would always be there. But now that it is gone, she understands its value. This is why your indifference can trigger the fear of replacement. She starts wondering where your energy is going. She starts noticing your routine. She starts watching whether you seem happier, more focused, more confident. And the calmer you are, the more her mind suspects that maybe you are not pretending. Maybe you really are moving on. And that is the thought that changes everything. Because when a woman believes she still owns a piece of your emotional world, she feels secure. But when she realizes you have taken that power back, the balance shifts. Now she is the one wondering where she stands. Now she is the one reading between the lines. Now she is the one trying to understand why your energy feels different. The power dynamic has reversed, not because you manipulated her, but because you stopped abandoning yourself. And this is the hidden truth most men never understand. You do not become powerful by trying harder to be chosen. You become powerful when you stop needing to be chosen by someone who does not value you properly. That is when desire can reignite, because desire grows in uncertainty. It grows when something once familiar becomes mysterious again. It grows when a woman realizes the man she thought she had figured out still has a deeper level of strength she never fully respected. Your absence becomes louder than your presence. Your silence becomes more powerful than your explanation. Your calmness becomes more attractive than your chasing. And suddenly, the attention she once treated as ordinary begins to feel rare. She may reach out with small excuses. She may bring up old memories. She may try to pull you back into conversation. She may test whether the connection is still there. She may even become warmer, softer, or more curious than before. But understand this clearly, not every return is love. Sometimes she comes back because she misses the validation. Sometimes she comes back because she fears being replaced. Sometimes she comes back because your strength awakened respect. And sometimes she comes back because your silence made her feel the value of what she once ignored. That is why you must stay grounded. Do not confuse her reaction with your victory. The real victory is not making her miss you. The real victory is becoming the kind of man who no longer loses himself trying to be wanted. Because when a woman realizes you're no longer interested, she goes through shock, curiosity, emotional chaos, testing, respect, fear of replacement, and sometimes renewed desire. But the deeper lesson is not about controlling her. It is about controlling yourself. Your value is not proven by how hard you chase. It is proven by how calmly you can walk away when your presence is no longer respected. Indifference is not coldness. It is self-respect. And when you master that, you stop begging to be chosen. You become the man who chooses. If this message opened your eyes, subscribe to Love Lies and Reality for more deep psychological truths about attraction, silence, and masculine self-respect. And remember this, the moment you stop chasing someone who treats your love like an option is the moment you become powerful again.